In this video, I'm going to talk about a day trading stop strategy using ATR. Stay tuned. Hey traders, a very warm welcome to you. Okay, so a strategy that I like to use, I haven't used it for a while actually, but it's not a bad way of kind of getting involved with something where you can't find a really good place to put a stop. So we all know that you kind of want to put a stop at a place where your trade idea is negated, the thesis of the trade is negated, the hypothesis, the reason isn't existing anymore. But you want to get out of the trade if that's wrong. So if that doesn't exist, so in other words, maybe you're in the middle of a range, and the low's too far away or the high's too far away, too much risk. There's no sort of distinct area to get involved in it, but you still want to be involved in it, which is why it's not a usual occurrence. And most of the time you're going to wait for a price to come to you. But let's just say, for example, you do want to get involved in the middle of a range. The obvious level for a stop is a way away, and it's just too much risk. You don't want to use a fixed stop because the noise of that is going to ping you out. You want to be a little bit more clever than just using that kind of traditional fixed stop. Well, here's a little strategy for you. So let's say we're trading on a 5-minute chart, and actually this is a really good strategy if you're unfamiliar with the market that you're trading. You come in, you want to trade it, you don't really know, how it moves. This is a good way of getting a quick gauge on the volatility at that moment in time. So it's a real intraday trading strategy idea. You come in, and what you do is you add yourself an average true range indicator. So if you put average true range in, and most of the time they're going to be a line, and it's going to be set at 14. What we're going to do is we change it to 1, and we're going to change it to a histogram so we can see each individual move. And I'm going to change that just from personal preference to yellow so I can see it, and also you guys can see it better on the screen. So what I'm doing with this is I'm basically saying, okay, I can now see on this 5-minute the range of each 5-minute bar. Now this doesn't work on daily charts, guys, because ATR takes into account gaps as well. We just want to know the range. And obviously if you've got you can program a range function very easily if you've got the ability to do that on your charting platform. High minus low, plot it on a histogram. Very simple, one line of code. Otherwise the ATR works fine on an intraday basis. So what I'm doing here is I'm saying, okay, excluding the open, I can exclude it or I can include it. What is the kind of maximum ATR of the day? So the maximum ATR of the day, and let's say I'm looking to trade here, I can say, okay, well the maximum move we've had is 10 points, and that was on this candle here. I can double check it and I can say, okay, yeah, high 7309, low, yeah, 10-point move. So I can also say, right, it's 10-point stop is my max. So if that's the maximum that we've moved in the day, apart from the open, I'm going to put my stop 11 points away. So in other words, it allows you to take the position and assume that that's a really rough guide of saying, listen, if it moves 10 points, it's a big 5-minute move. It's going to stop me out. Now, of course, if you're in the trade for sort of 20-30 minutes, then it doesn't make that much sense in terms of the logic of it. But what it does allow you to do is allow you to say, hey, listen, if I take a long down here at this low, for example, on this FTSE 100 chart that we've got here, I can look and say very quickly without much effort, hey, an 11 tick stop on this is going to definitely keep me within the noise factor. And that's all I'm really trying to do with this. I'm not trying to finesse it. And like I say, it's not really the ultimate way of putting a stop, but it's a way that you can very quickly gauge volatility and say, okay, worst case scenario, it's 11 points. Right, how much am I on risk on this? 250 quid. £25, okay, well, whatever it may be. A bit more than that, but you get the idea. You can very quickly gauge what you want to do. So if you wanted to go long here, you would say, okay, it's going to be 11 points because that was my biggest candle. It's going to be down here, my stop. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Fine. Now, as I said before, you can also use it sort of mid-range. So say if you wanted to take the trade here, for whatever reason you thought this was now going to push up and break to highs, but you didn't want to kind of wait for it to pull back, didn't think it was, didn't want to break out, you wanted to take the trade. Again, you can do exactly the same thing. Look at your biggest on your 3-minute or your 5-minute, whatever chart you may be. There's your worst case scenario stop. Okay, let's take the trade. At least it's a way of capping the risk, as opposed to, what people do, and we've all been guilty of this probably, is take a trade and not really think about the risk level, and then it starts to maybe drift down a little bit here, and then you think, oh, where's it got to be? It's got to be under here. Hey, that's way too much. This basically allows you to very quickly bracket the trade, very quickly say, okay, what's the biggest 5-minute move? It's this, right? Okay, so if I'm right and we have got another 5 or 10 minutes of move, that should keep me within the noise criteria, and that's really the idea of it. So it's a bit of a rough and ready way, but it's a very simple way of framing your trade. And kind of based on volatility as opposed to kind of just fixing it and saying, well, I'm always using an 8-tick stop in the FTSE. You don't know if the day has been quite active, then that's going to say, hey, actually the biggest range we've had is 15. You're going to have to be aware of that. So quick way of doing it, guys. Little kind of way of getting involved with intraday trading on the markets, especially if you're not familiar with the market. Hope you enjoyed the video, guys. Take care. See you in the next one. Bye bye.